Quite often do I feel that it was more to make the militants more militant, but much less to activize the uninitiated. So that was where I felt a little defeated. Can I do that? And that reminds me of something when much later, when I quietened down a lot, I tried to ask myself few questions instead of inciting people. That was the time I very accidentally ran into Zavattini, the architect of neo-realism. He was very old at that time, in 1978-79, in Moscow. And he told me that he had this belief that cinema can change the society. It couldn't. And he told me that cinema has failed me miserably. And he believed in that. And I feel that the point is to create a climate. Even now, the point is to create a climate. If a film can raise a debate, that is enough for you and me.
If the theme of his early films was exploitation and an analysis of its root cause, in his later films, Mrinal Sen shifted focus onto the city of Calcutta and its middle-class inhabitants. The city, with its vibrancy and intimidations, encourages a survival instinct, and no section responds to this more zealously than the middle class. To Mrinal Sen, this survival process brings out a moral contradiction, which was the subject of a sharp indictment in Ek Din Pratidin.
In Ek Din Pratidin, a woman gets lost for one night and the life is stopped. Life stops there for one night. But it is not a film about a woman who got lost. This is an excuse, as much as the death of a boy in Kharij is also an excuse. And then we try to do something, focus on something else. Here also, what we try to do, in Ek Din Pratidin, the life stops, but then we do a sort of surgical incision into many constraints operating in our society. The social, moral, economic, political and all. When the day breaks and the people also come out into the open, she comes out and a plane goes by. She looks up and undaunted, she stands there and then quietly lights the oven and another day starts. Many of my friends told me, how is it that you end the film with such despair? But I find that behind this apparent look of despair, there is an interior strength which keeps people going, which keeps us moving forward, which makes us dream, feel like dreaming for the future. Instead of focusing on the individual, I try to focus on my own community, my own tribe, the people who claim to be reality seekers. To what extent we can project reality? This was my question. And finally we come to that stage, that we run away from the reality. As long as we have a sense of historicity, as long as we know the performances of the tools that are employed in the making of the film, and we go back to our places, and then the film will be shown to different areas, even to the foreign countries where it would perhaps bag an award. It did eventually, and then I will forget all about these people. But if you ask me this question, whether I got involved or not during the shooting, well, I would say of course I did. I got involved. I developed a kind of respect for the circumstances in which these people lived. But after that, what happens? You know, after that, I keep on telling the stories. I keep on telling the stories very respectfully, but I forget all about them. In a way, we exploit the situations, and there is no way out. We were engaged in doing a post-mortem of the society to which I essentially belong, and this is what I did. Towards who asked their servant boys to take leave, to go away, because they would be watching themselves. They came to know about the film, but they didn't see this film. So they didn't want to see the film along with their boy servants, because they didn't want to share the feelings with them.
Mrinal Sen lives in a modest middle-class neighborhood of South Calcutta. It is a neighborhood he is most comfortable with, and from whose inhabitants he fashions the themes and characters of his films. His wife, Geeta Sen, is also an accomplished actress in her own right. She has played major roles in most of his films. To her, the man and the artist somewhere coincide, though his life revolves around an incredible obsession for cinema and filmmaking.
ও যখন করবে তখন মনে হবে যে এরকম মানুষ হয় না, কি সংসার বোঝে, আর যখন মনে করবে আমি মানে সুইচ অফ করে দেবো, খুব সুন্দর অফ করে দিতে পারে, তখন আর কোনো দিকেও তাকাবে না। সেটা আমি এতদিন দেখে দেখে বুঝি এর ভেতরে কোনো গোলমেলে মানুষ বাস করে না। একটা মানুষ বাস করে যে কাজের সময় মনে করে কাজের বেশি আমার আর কিচ্ছু নেই, না বউ, না ছেলে, না মা, কেউ না। সেটা আমি বুঝি, আমার কোনো অসুবিধা হয় না তাতে। আফটার অল মানুষটা ভালো, হি ইজ এ গুড ম্যান।
Ever since his debut in 1956, Sen has been making feature films at regular intervals, almost a film a year or two. And to each of them he invests incredible energy, which allows him to finish a film within 5 to 6 months of commencing the shoot. He began Ek Din Achanak in September 1988 and completed the film by January 1989.
Aarti putting the kettle on the stove.
The tension is still there. We were waiting for him, the man. He's expected any moment. And you created the tension. It went up, it was going up and up and up. Finally, when Shavana burst out, what is all this? That anything had happened, I would have told you. I would not have kept it to myself. And then there she cannot contain herself anymore. She cries. And that is the end of a sequence. To come, to stand here first, and then come here, and then finally come here.
Almost into the line.
In one line. You come along this line.
No, she can come straight. It will be.
You come straight, you just like this. Hey. Hey.
She doesn't have to come inside the track.
Huh?
She doesn't have to come inside the track from here.
Ready?
Yeah.
Putra, ready? Even when you hear a footstep, you feel that must be my husband. Ready?
Silence.
Start sound.
24/3, take 2.
Action. Okay?
Although he is known to improvise a great deal, by the editing stage, the film has taken a shape he has envisaged. It is now time only to smoothen the rough edges.
My feeling is that the film is not that long.
That is due to your making you feel that it is not so long. That is due to your making you are feeling
No,
that
no, no, I mean, আর ওই শটটা দেখ, বুঝলে? আর একটু আগে থেকে চালাতো। I have a sense of satisfaction for obvious reason. On the other hand, I suffer from a terrific sense of guilt because I know where are the lapses. And that is how I think I have been growing. And every time I make a film, I feel I wish it were a dress rehearsal so that I could start over again.